Good morning, students. Welcome to my online class. This is Mali Satyanarayan Krishna Kunjeti, and today I'm going to explain you about the data types and operators available in the Python. Okay, before going to the entering into the actual lecture, let me give a small introduction about the computer languages. So, what is a language? A language is the medium which communicate between two things. Those two things may be human beings, machines, human being and machine, and robots or anything. So the language is the medium. So based upon the perception of the person or the thing, we can decide which language is a basic language or easy language and a low level language and a high level language. For example, the machines, the computers, they just understand on off stage. A switch is on or off, which is called as a machine language, or we can say in a simple words, we can say a binary language, which is a low level language and very easily understand by the machines. So we are going to tell a language is a low level language or high level language from the perception of the machine. So if the machine understand easily, then I can say that one is the low level language. If the machine need some efforts or some compilers or some other interpreters, intermediate components, then I can call that one as high level language. And I am again repeating, the language status, it is the low level or high level language, it is from the perception of the machine, not from the perception of the human being. So from the perception of the machines, the machine level language, which is the microcontrollers or microprocessors, which are understanding the on-off stages of switches, is the low level language. And intermediate languages are C languages, and C is the one of the intermediate languages, and the Python is, which is an advanced and high level language. And the Python is emerged in different fields of the science, in artificial intelligence, data science, and developing, etc., etc. So, and it is open source, and it is very easy to understand for the human beings, and we can explain clearly the instructions. So, of course, it is a high-level language for the machines. That means for the computers. So, now coming to any computer language, if you want to deal with a computer language, if you want to explain to a information to a machines, first you should understand what is the data and what is the operators which is operating the data. So means the machine, that which data are in which form the machines or a computer can store the data or can store the information or can understand the information is called data. And the operator means if a raw data is available, then we need to process it and we have to make it as useful to our actual purposes. For that one, we have to use the operators. Of course, if you go in depth, you have a, it is a version. We cannot dive into that version at a single instant. Okay, first let us have an introduction or what are the data types available in the Python. There are mainly eight types of data types is available in the Python, which are the text data type, numeric data type, sequence data type, mapping data type, set data type, Boolean data type, and binary data type, as well as none data type. The examples for the text data type is string, and the numeric data type are int, float, complex numbers, and sequence data type are list, tuple, range, and mapping data type are the dictionary, and set data types are the set as well as frozen set, and Boolean data type are the Boolean, which has two values, which is true or false, and the binary data type, which is the combination of zeros and ones, which is the forms of bytes array, and memory view, and none data type. Okay, anyway, it is a big stream. I cannot explain all the data types in a single video, but let me introduce each and every data type. For example, the text data type. String is the good example for the data type. The string is the sequence of characters and it is denoted with the single quotations or double quotations or triple quotations in the Python programming. So it is a group of characters, all alphabeticals and alphanumerical values, whatever it is, which is available, all the characters available on your keyboard. We can use those things in these strings. So again, in the strings, while we are having the strings in a human language, we can have simple words, sentences, and paragraphs. So how we are going to be discriminate these things in the Python is with these quotations, with a single quotation, with a single word, and double quotations, a single word or a sentence, and triple quotations, which is a single word or sentence or a paragraphs. Of course, once we dive into the strings, we can understand those things very clearly. And string data is immutable values. Means once you define a string, you cannot change the string. Means that string data is fixed. Of course, you can copy the data or you can manipulate the data, but you cannot change the original string data. You can assign or you can copy that one to another variable, and there you can do the manipulations. But the string, once you design a string, means it is fixed. It is immutable values. And if you are familiar with any other languages like C programming, in a strings for the characters you have two types of data types. One is char data type, character data type, and the other one is the string data type. But in the Python, we don't have such concept char or character data type. We have only one data type, which is string data type. Then coming to the another data type, which is a numerical data type. The Python is wonderful for this particular numerical data type. Why? Because in this particular thing you can use the int data type, which is the complete numbers, and float data type, which is fraction numbers or floating values. And also you can use the complex numbers, which is the real part as well as imaginary parts of the numbers, which is the real beauty of this particular Python programming. In other languages, you don't have this particular kind of complex data type, but you can use this complex data type in the Python. Okay, and the next data type is sequence data type. The sequence, of course, the sequence is nothing but a group of data, and that data may not be belongs to the same category. It may be a different categories. So that's why the sequence data type is the next data type. Of course, there are some examples for this particular sequence data type in Python, which is a list, tuple, as well as a range. So anyway, you can study those things in detail, in depth in the further classes. The first one is a list. A list is a sequence of values. Those values may or may not be same data type. It is the group of data, and list is the sequence of values. These values may or may not be the same data type, and lists are very useful things in the the Python programming. Not only the Python programming, the data sciences. Of course, it is the miracle in the Python. And the tuple is also similar kind of a list, but the thing is the tuple is immutable sequence. Immutable sequence, just like strings, it is immutable data. That means once you design, it is fixed. You cannot change the data by place. Of course, you can copy that one data, or you can do some functions to manipulate the data. And the next sequence type is the range. The range is a special class, of course. Range is considered as a data type in the advanced Python 3.0 versions. In the previous versions, it is considered as a class. Of course, that is a different concept. Anyway, the range is also a group of data, or it is a sequence of data, and mostly we use this particular range data in loop statements, entry control loops and exit control loops, like for loops and while loops. In the Python, we are going to use this particular range class. Then coming to the next data type, which is the mapping. For the mapping data type, The best example in Python is dictionary. Dictionary is the example for the mapping data type. Anyway, in this particular dictionary name itself, mapping means we are going to use some keyword. For that keyword, we are going to assign a value. Anyway, once you are enter into the dictionaries, you can clearly understand what is this particular keywords as well as values. But in the dictionary, the keywords which are you can use as a keywords any immutable values. Any immutable values means the integers, float, boolean, strings, and tuple. Any one of these things you can use as a keywords in the dictionary. Then coming to the next data type, which is sets. Sets is the data type. In this data type or in this sequence or in this group of data, you never have any duplicate values. You never have any duplicate values. Means once a value is present in a set, you cannot enter that particular value again. Okay, and this particular set is dealing with four main operations. Those operations is called union operation, intersection operation, and difference operation, as well as exclusive OR operations. Anyway, you can understand these operations once we are entered into the sets. Then the next data type is Boolean data type. Very small and very powerful. The Boolean data type, it has only two values, which is true or false, which are very important, which is going to be give the information from any conditions, from instructions and status. It is giving the true and false. Any computer language, these two words, true and false, are very powerful. Why? Because they will control the control flow. How the instructions is executed and which flow of instructions has to go, it will be decided with this particular barriers, either true or false. Okay, anyway, it is a vast subject. Even you have a Boolean algebra kind of things. From that one, you have a different stream of engineering, like embedded systems, KMAP. I mean to say, embedded system is the advanced concept of this particular Boolean. The basic one is the logic designs, basic gates, K-maps, and extended to PLCs, programming logic controllers, microcontrollers, embedded system. There is a vast stuff in this particular Boolean. Of course, I'm not going to be enter into that one. I'm just give a pinch of that Boolean and just giving the pinch of Boolean flavor for Python. The next data type is a binary data type. So binary data type means it is the binary number system, means it consists of only zeros and ones, which is similar to machine level language. Means the machine language understand only on stage of switch as well as off stage of switch. In the same manner, binary data type consists only two things, either 0 or 1. And once you find out the stages of these zeros and ones, if you group them, then if it is based upon the number of bits, I mean to say binary digit, either 0 or 1, and the binary digit in short we can call that one as bit, bit. So based upon the size of bits, if it's 8 bits, we call that one as byte. And once we have a byte, we are going to use the byte arrays, as well as from that one we can have a memory views also. Okay, that is the binary data type. Now the next data type is non-data type. It is a special class of data in Python. It may be used in the exceptions. In the Python programming, there is while you are programming it, one we have an exception handlings. In this particular thing, this non-data type is very useful. Anyway, once you are diving into the Python programming, then you can clearly understand this particular data type. So these are the different data types available in the Python programming. The next one is, in any language, if you got the data, then you have to do some operations on the data, and you have to analyze the data, and you have to take the decisions. So that is called a data analysis. It is in short the data analysis. But to analyze this particular data, based upon kind of data, we have to use some operators, and from that operators we are going to be design some instructions, and this group of instructions is called as a program or a function. So now let us have a quick look, or let us have an elaborate view of this particular operators. In Python programming, mainly 8 kinds of operators are available. The first one is arithmetic operators, the second one is comparison operators, and the third one is assignment operator, the fourth one is logical operators and identify operators, membership operator, and bitwise operators, as well as math operators. Of course, we can call that one as math operators, or we can call that one as functions or a library functions. So based upon this particular math operations or functions, we can again develop some tools in this particular Python, like NumPy, Pandas, etc., like by using the matrix and arrays. Of course, I'm not going to be go that much depth at this level, so let us have a review of these things. So first let us see the arithmetic operators. So these are the arithmetic operators. Okay, so the arithmetic operators, once you consider these operators, any operator, it is going to be analyze a data and gives a data. Sometimes this operator gives the data in the same form or different form. For example, arithmetic operators. These operators requires numerical data types, and once the operation or the analysis or execution is completed, it again gives the numerical data. So the different arithmetic operators available in the Python programming are additional operation, which is a plus mark, and subtraction, which is a minus, multiplication, which is star, and division, which is slash. Of course, these are the basic algebraic mathematics, so that's why I'm not going to explain much about these things. But the division, it gives float values, resists the float values. Okay, the remainder, which gives, if you divide a particular number with other number, whatever the leftover integer value, that is gives the remainder. And in the mathematics we have power, a power b, or some 5 square, 5 power 4, which is 125. So, sorry, 5 power 4, which is 625. Okay, so like this you can power those things, but in the on the operator used in the Python program for that particular power, or exponential, is the double star. And while you are dividing in the mathematics, we have a clear a different wing of mathematics, which is a floor and ceil value. While we are going to be taking the integers part or floating values, then we can find out the floor value and the ceil value of the number. For example, if I consider 5.32678, the floor value for that particular value, that particular float number is 5, and the ceil is 6. Anyway, it is the similar concept is available in the negative numbers. Of course, I'm not going to be in depth of that one. So in the Python programming, we can clearly execute this particular floor mathematics also. For that one, the operator is double slash. Now, the next one is comparison operators. Comparison operators. These operators also requires numerical data. So that means it is compares two, basically the two numerical data. We are going to compare those things. The first one is equality. It means the data, the numerical data available in two variables are same or not. We are going to be check that one with the operator equality. And if it is not same, not equal. In the same manner, greater or lesser, greater or equal to, and less than or equal to. And for this particular comparison operators, it requires numerical data, but it results the Boolean data. Means whatever the numerical data is given to this particular operators, it just given a Boolean output, which is either it is true or false. Is it true? Is it equal? True or false? Is it lesser? true or false. So that means it gives a boolean data as an output which results the controlling the instructions true or false. The next operators are assignment operators. These assignment operators, it is the basic, or I can say it is the branches for the instructions. Means it requires the numerical data as well as a variable name. Means we are going to assign a value to a variable, as well as we are going to be perform some arithmetic operations with these particular variables. The arithmetic operations means like addition, subtraction, multiplication, as well as division. So for example, why we are using this assignment operators means while we are writing the programming, each instruction, each variable takes or it stores in the form of memory. So if you prolong the operators, if you prolong the instruction, then it takes more memory. So to reduce the space, less space, easy access and fast response. So that's why to reduce the space, to reduce the instruction length, we are going to use this particular assignment operators. So for example, plus equal means in any normal language we are going to represent a normal instruction k equal to k plus 7. So there are total, it considered as two operators equal, assignment operator as well as plus operator, and it has to store the data for 7 and double memory for k. Instead of this one, that means 1 2 3 4 5 bits of or 5 blocks of memory we require. Instead of that one, if you are using this particular thing, k plus equals 7, now it is going to store only 4 blocks of instruction. Even it is not the 4 blocks, it is 3 blocks. Why? Because plus equal is a mixed operator and it takes 1 block of memory. That means instead of using 5 blocks of memory, you can complete the instruction with the 3 blocks of memory. So which results less memory. So memory is less means easy to access, and easy to access means fast response and quick operations. So these are the some assignment operators. Now coming to the next one, logical operators. So the logical operators, it requires Boolean data as well as it results the Boolean data. In the programming control flow, while we are getting a particular instruction is a true or false, we can take the decision. But sometimes we have to take the decision based upon number of conditions, means more than one instruction. So that means more than one condition. So to execute this particular Boolean operations, we are using the logical operators, the logical AND, logical OR and logical NOT. The minimum number of inputs required for the logical AND are 2, and the minimum number of inputs required for the logical OR are 2, as well as the number of inputs required, I'm telling, the number of inputs required for logical NOT is only 1. That means if it is a true, logical NOT means false. If it is false, logical NOT is true. But AND and OR minimum they require 2 inputs, maximum based upon the programming instructions. Okay, anyway, and I'm going to explain in a short way for the 2 instructions. If any 2 conditions is there, AND means if both conditions is true, then the resultant is true. Or I can define that one if the universal statement for the AND, if any one input of the AND, it is may not be 2 inputs or an n number of inputs, if any one input for the AND logic is false, the result is false only. Okay, and if all the inputs for the AND logic are true, then only the output is true. In the same manner, for the logical OR, the universal definition for the logical OR, if any one input is true, if any one input is true, ignore the remaining all, the output is true itself. Okay, and in the same manner, if all the inputs for the OR logic are false, I'm repeating, if all the inputs for the logical OR are false, then only the output is false. Okay, these are the universal definitions for the logical and OR irrespective of the inputs, either it is 2 inputs or 10 inputs or any number of inputs. Okay, now let us see the next operators. Identify operators. So these identify operators are mainly used in sequence data types. Of course, once we are entering into the list, the best example for this particular identify operators is used in the list, which is the operators are is and other operator is not. Means a list data is assigned to two variables. Now we are going to find out the values of those the list values stored in the variables both are same or not. Identifying it means in two ways. One is value wise and the second one is address wise. So of course, once you enter into the list, then you can identify what is the similarity and same lists or strings. Okay, now the similarity identity, the operator used is. This is an English word. It is a English language word, which is we mostly use this one, and it is the operator. It is not the symbol. Why? Because until now the symbols means we are using some. Operators means we are using some symbols like a plus, minus, etc. But now these keywords itself, those are the operators. Okay, and the result of this particular sequence data type sequence and data, while using the identify operators, we are getting only the boolean data output, means either a true or not. If it is yes or no, that means sorry, we cannot say yes or no, we say either true or false. Okay, now the next one is membership operators. So the membership operators, it is used in the mapping data. Just like if you remember while I'm telling about the data types, the mapping data type is one of the example is the dictionary. So in a dictionary or in a sequence, if a keyword or a value is a member or not, to verify that one we use this particular membership operators, which is in and not in. So to use these things, we require mapping data, and you must remember the result of this mapping data is Boolean data. Again, either true or false. Okay, now coming to the next one, bitwise operators. So bitwise operators means for this particular thing, we require a binary data which is 0 and 1s. 0 and 1s are combination of 0 1s. So byte arrays and memory views, we are going to be perform these operations on the memory locations, or we can say memory managements. Okay, the bitwise operators are bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise exclusive OR, and bitwise NOT, and bitwise left shift, and bitwise right shift. Of course, these are used for the memory management. Once it is a different stream, once you enter into that particular subject, then you can clearly understand this one. The next operator is math operators. Of course, we can call this as a operators or functions. Means once we have the basic arithmetic operations, Boolean operations, etc., then we are going to be make a group of instructions, and we make that group of instruction as a function. Or if you make that functions, then we can call that one as a library, just like NumPy and Pandas libraries in Python. So of course I consider you are in the basic level, that's why I'm going to consider these are the operators means, but these are the mathematical functions, or it is a math library which is inbuilt default available in the Python. Some of examples for this particular math operators are logarithmic function, which is log of, square root functions, which is sqrt of, and trigonometric functions, which is sine, cos, tan, etc. I hope now you understand a basic information or basic idea about the data types available in the Python, as well as the operators available in the Python. And for any language, we require IDE, integrated development environments, to execute our instructions as to write the programs. So that means this IDEs varies from program to program, but any IDE, it requires a compiler, an editor to enter our text or something. And if it's a normal computer language, you require the compiler, which converts your instruction to machine language. Of course, Python is a special one. You have the interpreter, means interpreter means it is automatically, means at the instant it compiles and executes. So that is the beauty of the Python. It has the interpreter. Okay, anyway, we have different kinds of IDEs. Even Microsoft Word offers its own IDE, and one of the online or one of the free and popular IDE which I like is a Spider one. Of course, you have the online Google Jupyter Notebooks, etc., and other environments IDEs is available for the Python programming. Anyway, this is the introduction to the operators as well as data types available in the Python programming. Once you dive into these particular data types, you can clearly understand how to use them and how to utilize them in the data analysis. So once we have a group of instructions and a group of libraries, then this data science comes under the libraries like NumPys and Pandas, etc. Anyway, hope we are going to meet again and we are going to discuss those things in future. Thank you. Keep in touch.